Hi guys, it's Talia here from the Climbing Tree. I think I am due to do my 20-week pregnancy update. So I think my last video was at 16 weeks. It's been a month now since then, and things are definitely getting more real. I thought that I would share with you how we're going and what's happening. Just to recap, I am pregnant with our fourth child, and I guess that's the only real recap I need to do, really. Let's go back to 17 weeks and 18 weeks and whatever. There's not so much to report, except that I had a midwife appointment at 17 weeks and Ahava and I got to hear the baby's heartbeat, and that was really great. That was very reassuring again, even though I had started to feel baby movements before then. It was crazy. Actually, I want to share some thoughts. Some of my biggest thoughts this month actually have been about what it's like being pregnant again after having a miscarriage last year. And so with my first three children, I'd never had a miscarriage, and so I didn't really understand the fears that can come up when you are pregnant again after that. So the first three times, I was super cruisy about everything because I was just yeah, of course everything's fine. Why wouldn't it be fine? And now that I've had this miscarriage, I'm way more sort of worried all the time about the safety of my baby, and just generally feeling less confident in the process. Just sort of, I guess it's, a certain amount of anxiety that's just sort of coming up. But I feel I don't know, I just feeling kind of worried all the time. I hope we get to the next week. I hope we get to the next week. And that is actually really tiring and not a super nice way to think about things. And a way to just generally live your life is to be with so much worry all the time. It's really got me to the point where I'm super keen and excited to meet this baby and to welcome them into our family, but I'm not keen to ever be pregnant again. And it's not that it's it's a bad pregnancy. It's not. It's it's fine. It is where it should be for this stage. I just feel oh gosh, I can't do this much worrying again. And so, I mean, not that we really want to have any more children. 4 children is plenty, and I think that it suits us, that suits us. So, but it's just, I just definitely have that feeling of just yep, this is it. I feel really happy to say this is our family completed. Though I recognize there are certain things to take into consideration with us converting to Orthodox Judaism and the general approach to birth control and stuff like that. And we probably need to talk all that through properly with the rabbi, because I do have a number of health concerns, and probably shouldn't have gotten pregnant again even this time, so really shouldn't do that again another time. It's also more complicated because of I'm not able to take a bunch of different birth control. So yeah, I don't really know where we would end up with that. It's something that we need to talk to our rabbi about, but not something that we need to worry about right now. We've got so much stuff to think about and to do and to be concerned about that is just not something we need to think about right now. thank God, generally, like, I am quite infertile for a good amount of time after the baby is born as well. So hopefully we won't have to worry about that either, for a while. Too much information? Sorry. Anyway, so that all went well. The midwife appointment, everything was good. I think I measured like reasonably accurately for what I was meant to be, 17 weeks. I have a private midwife, and so the way that works here in Queensland, in Australia, is that I basically she is registered with Medicare, and so I can, when I ever eventually pay for an appointment with her, like an antenatal appointment, then I can still be reimbursed the same as when I go to a GP, and I can get money back from Medicare for doing that appointment. I can do the same thing with these, but the actual birth costs of having her are all out of pocket. And of course we have free healthcare here in Australia. I could easily go to the hospital and just not pay anything. I could really go for my whole pregnancy and birth and not pay anything. But I think that maternity and birth care in Australia actually has a lot lacking in it, and it's not the best. I mean, it's great to be able to access all this stuff for free, for sure. But I think it's not so woman-centered, and it's not going to take my best interests into consideration, or be in any way trying to promote for me the birth experience that I can have, and the best birth experience that my baby can have. And so this is why I choose to have a private midwife, because it's important to me that my baby is given the very best welcome into the world that they can have, and that this is based on my personal experience as well, in that Leo had a very traumatic birth, and that really affected him as a baby. And I remember even just talking to regular child health nurses, and just me sort of saying he's very unsettled and upset and clingy, and it was just, even though I'd never had a kid before, I knew that this wasn't right with him. And he did have other issues as well, but the nurse that I'd spoken to this one particular time I'm thinking of, she was like, well, he had a really traumatic birth. It takes time for you to get through that, but it takes time for him to get through it as well. And he doesn't have the, mental capacity like you do as an adult to really process that. So it's difficult. And so that was one of my main motivations in getting a private midwife with Ellie, and then with Ahava, and now with this baby, is that I just don't want to do that to my child again. I want them to have a really, really beautiful birth, and obviously that will help all of us to, settle as a family once they're born, if they have had a really beautiful birth experience. Better for me as well. That was super traumatic for me to have such a difficult birth experience, and then to just have to look after a baby who was also an unsettled baby. And the more children I have, the more people I have to be considerate of, and the more I think that it is worth the investment in having a really great birth experience, all the very best that you can. Obviously sometimes situations come up and there's nothing you can do, but I think you can still be really prepared mentally, spiritually, physically, with the right support. And so even if you end up having some sort of complication and needing to have a cesarean, say, which obviously has a lot more recovery than a really straightforward vaginal birth, I think even in that situation you can be adequately prepared and then still have a good positive experience, even if physically it wasn't the experience that you ideally wanted. So anyway, that's all my sort of thoughts on that. It's not going to be great for our family if I have a really traumatic birth this time because I didn't invest in the things that I know that I need. And that's the advantage of having done this multiple times, is I do know what I need now. And then all my other children suffer. It's difficult for my husband, it's difficult for my baby and for connecting and for me. And I just don't want to have that experience for everybody. It can be then a burden on, say, my parents having to help out, or, all of that kind of stuff. So I just think that, I think this is worth the money, is what I'm saying. And worth the little bit of fighting you might have to do to get it to happen. Do I have anything else to say about that? I just want to say nothing really. I think that's all I want to say about that. I'm having a private midwife. We saw her, did that appointment. This midwife, she was with me for a harvest birth, and she was not my midwife for Ellie's birth, but I was part of a midwife group then, and she ran that, and she was the leader of that. And I did see her throughout the pregnancy, and I certainly knew her since being pregnant with Ellie. And I think that helps a lot in that we are able to talk through how my previous births have gone, and she actually knows, she was actually there. So it is just super great. I mean, she's a wonderfully intuitive, beautiful woman, and I'm so glad to have her with me again. Yes, so there's that. Not much else has happened in the time. We did meet with the Beth Din, which is like the Jewish rabbinic people court, Sorry, I have serious baby brain. I cannot think. Anyway, we had to meet with them because we're just due to go to the next stage with our Jewish conversion. And so we had to talk to them. And so we wanted to bring up about the fact that I was pregnant to see if that would affect anything, because we really didn't know. But it didn't. They were super happy for us. And yeah, it was just didn't seem to matter too much. I mean, God willing, we'll be through that process, should be through before Rosh Hashanah for sure. And really we're in the last stage now of finalizing a couple of things that need to happen beforehand. We've really finished all of our study, and we're or nearly all of it. We're just finishing up a couple of things, and then reviewing, practicing our Hebrew, because we have to know that. And yeah, then we can be ready to do our pre-final, which we can do via Skype. And basically, if we pass that, then they know we're going to pass the real thing, and we can go down to Sydney and we can do that, and that will be good. Really looking forward to doing that. It is certainly on my mind that in the 20 weeks that we have left of this pregnancy, because this baby is due just the week after Simchat Torah, so just after Sukkot. So we, really in that time, I have to prepare everything I need to prepare for labor and birth and actually having stuff for the baby. Had a bit of a freak out about that in this time frame, 17, 18 weeks. I was just oh my gosh, we're nearly at the halfway mark and I haven't done anything. The baby has nothing to wear when it's born, kind of thing. But we also have to do all this other stuff to do with our conversion. We have to sit those tests. We have to be competent in all of this stuff. We have to go down to Sydney, and we have to sit our tests, and we have to convert, go to the mikveh, we have to get married. It's just a lot of stuff. Plus, thank goodness we've finished Shavuot now, and we have a bit of a break of Hagim. But then before you know it, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, they'll all be here, and then the next week, hello baby. So it is like really a full-on 20 weeks that we have coming up. And so one of my things I thought about a lot this month that I'm recapping on, that I've started actioning on actually, is that I need to just get all my baby stuff ready ASAP. And even though I would never normally be ready this far in advance, like I would never buy baby clothes like at 20 weeks, you know, and I would never like organize stuff for the baby. I just feel like because of the time frame of our life and what's happening, I mean, even if for some reason we didn't convert before Rosh Hashanah, we still would have gone through the process of preparing to convert then. So that would have been just as busy and, you know, whatever, than if we really do convert. So, yeah, I just need to get onto that. And so that is the exciting thing that I've done this week and last week, is started really organizing stuff. I've decided, we rearranged our room a bit. It might look slightly different in the background. My bed's not made, so I'm not going to give you a tour or anything. But just trying to work out where the baby will be and how we want our bedroom sort of set up. I've got a chest of drawers, which is like in front of me, which has a lot of art stuff in it. And I need to basically get rid of all of that and put it over into my other art section and cull it, I guess, because this will be the baby's things. And after I finish this video, that is what I'm going to do. That is like, I need to start on it at least tonight. And yeah, like I don't know if I said this in the last video, but we really don't have space in our house for another person. I know theoretically babies don't take up a lot of space, and we certainly don't give our children like all the stuff that society tells you that you need for a new baby. We like to keep things super simple and super actually realistic of what you need. So like we don't generally worry about like change tables, because you can change babies on beds and it works the same. So, you know, stuff like that. They definitely do not need their own room. Our 3 other children share a room, so the baby is not getting their own room. But obviously they still do need somewhere to sleep, and they still do have things like clothes, nappies, even just like swings and stuff like this. You know, we don't go crazy with that kind of stuff, but I think with this baby, that is sort of in my head, that I would like to have some sort of swing for them to like chill out with. Just because there are so many other children that I need to look after, that there will be times when I'm not maybe wanting to wear the baby constantly, or I need to like actually physically help someone with something that having the baby on me would be difficult. Plus my other children are old enough that if I have the baby in the swing, even if they're slightly unsettled, I can ask an older kid, can you just sit with the baby and talk with them and show them some toys, and they are capable of doing that. Whether or not they will want to do that is a total other thing, and I really won't know until it happens. But at least I sort of feel like my children are fairly compliant, and they are very excited about the baby. So they will want to do that, I think, at least at the beginning. So when it's possibly not useful. So baby will just sleep a lot. Anyway, this video is getting super long, so I'm going to quickly tell you that I had an ultrasound at 19 weeks. The baby is very long and very big, which I'm not really worried about, because I gave birth to Ellie and he was 4.6 kilo when he was born. So if I can give birth to Ellie with like no drugs and no help, then I can give birth to anybody, basically. I really don't think the baby's going to be bigger than that. We did find out the gender, and we are sort of telling people. We told our kids, and so we are telling other people because the kids can't be quiet about it. But I feel slightly weird to like just talk about it on the internet, so I haven't really shared the gender on Instagram or on YouTube or anything, and I'm unsure if I will do that. But if you want to guess if it's a boy or a girl, you can leave a comment below, and I would love to see what people reckon. We have 2 sons and then a daughter, a Hava, and then we have this...
I'm not a daughter.
Yes, you are.
No.
A daughter is a girl.
But you're a girl, so you're a daughter.
Yeah, I am a daughter.
And Dada is a daughter.
Yeah.
And the mommy is a daughter.
Yeah.
And the boys are not.
No, they're sons.
Yeah, they're sons.
I'm doing a video. Careful.
Mom.
What else do we want to update about the baby? So we've started really collecting a bunch of stuff that we will need for baby, including, what do we get? We got like, we got a bunch of baby clothes from a lovely friend on Instagram who had offered her grandchildren's baby clothes, which is really lovely, and also got a baby hammock from her as well, so that's pretty cool. What else do we get? Oh, and some cloth nappies. We also just went off today to pick up another bunch of cloth nappies, so that's super handy. What else? Oh, we picked up some baby swaddles yesterday. I really love the Love to Dream swaddles, and I have kept mine from Ahava, but I've misplaced them. I can't find them anywhere. So yeah, I'm not sure there's so much left to get. I need to just sort through the clothes that we have now once I've cleaned out these drawers, and when I'm putting them in, I can sort out what we have. I've got 1 box of baby stuff, which is from Ahava's like whole first year, and I need to just sort of sort through that, see what is appropriate and what isn't appropriate, and I don't know, even like they've just been in a box for quite a few years, so some of it might not even be good. But hoping that there's some wraps down there. If not, I probably will get a couple of wraps, you know, just like muslin cloth things. I always prefer the 1.2 meter squares rather than 1 meter squares, and if I can't, I just find that a 1 meter square is just not sufficient to comfortably wrap a baby. Anyway, I don't think there's much else I will need to do, except to just check through the clothes to see if there's any other little bits that maybe we need, or you know, also the seasons change and are different. I'm not sure exactly what season these clothes are that we have got from this friend, so I need to just check through that, because this baby will be born like the end of October or start of November, could be if it's overdue. And yes, so it will still be cool. Like, I don't know, you know, I always just think Sukkot, when you're out in the sukkah at night, it is cool. Like, the baby will need to be dressed in clothes. I'm used to having like total summer babies, December and January, and they just live basically in nappies and singlets for most of the first few weeks of their life, or for ages really, because it is hot, and it is hot for a long time. So this baby, I feel like, will need to be dressed more seasonally appropriate for its season, which will be spring, I guess. How lovely. Yeah, so other than that, I think we're pretty much organized. Everything's good. Everything was fine with the baby. Soon, I have a midwife appointment tomorrow. I thought about just waiting and doing the video after that appointment, but it won't happen till the next week then, and you know, this is already quite a few days later than 20 weeks. So we'll see how we go. I mean, if the baby is born early because it really was due earlier, so be it. And if it's born later, actually, that suits me fine. The further away it is from Sukkot, the better. I don't want this to get too big, obviously, but yeah, I mean, I grow big babies. There ain't nothing I can do about that. It doesn't matter any like other factors. They just are big, and yeah, that's okay. I'm well able to deliver big babies, so it's not a problem. Anyway, I'm going to do a Q&A in a couple of weeks' time. So if you have any questions about the pregnancy or anything I've mentioned, or about conversion, or just any other questions about me in general, let me know. Hit me up in the comments below or on Insta, and we can sort through those comments for a video soon. Anyway, that is my 20-week update. I hope that was interesting. And if you're also 20 weeks or pregnant and similar time, let me know. I would love to know someone else who was pregnant at the same time as me. Yeah, great. Thanks, guys. Like, subscribe, blah, 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 whatever. You know the drill. See ya.